The bell rang at Crestwood Academy, a school where polished marble floors echoed with the footsteps of children from some of the wealthiest families in the city. Among them was Lila, the quietest of all. She was only 9 years old, daughter of billionaire CEO Richard Hale, and yet not a single teacher, not even her classmates, had heard her utter a single word in over a year. Some said she was mute. Others whispered she was arrogant, spoiled, too rich to bother with ordinary people. But none of them knew the truth. Behind her expensive clothes, behind the chauffeur waiting outside in a black luxury car, Lila carried a silence born of grief. Her mother, her only safe place, had passed away suddenly. Since then, the world had been too loud, too cruel, too overwhelming. Words had dried up in her throat like stones. Enter Mr. Daniels, the new substitute teacher. He was nothing like the others at Crestwood. His shirts were secondhand, the cuffs frayed. His shoes had been polished too many times, trying to hide the cracks. And though he smiled often, there was something tired in his eyes. Few knew he had taken the job out of desperation. His wife's medical bills were piling up, and teaching at Crestwood, though intimidating, paid just enough to keep the collectors away for another month. On his first day, he noticed Lila immediately. Not because she was a billionaire's daughter, but because her silence felt louder than any chatter in the room. She sat near the window, staring out as if searching for something she had lost. "Good morning, class," Mr. Daniels said brightly. "Today, we're going to try something different. No tests, no worksheets. We're going to tell stories." The students groaned. Some whispered, others smirked. But he pressed on. One by one, he asked each child to share something, a funny memory, a favorite dream. When it was Lila's turn, all eyes turned. The room held its breath. Mr. Daniels smiled gently at her. "Lila, would you like to share anything? It doesn't have to be long. Just one sentence." She froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Her eyes darted nervously, then she shook her head and lowered it. The other children giggled, some rolling their eyes. "See, told you she doesn't talk," one boy muttered. Mr. Daniels didn't scold him. Instead, he walked to the board and wrote a single sentence. "Sometimes silence is the loudest cry for help." He looked back at Lila, his eyes soft but steady. "You don't have to speak today. But know this, you're safe here. When you're ready, I'll be listening." For the first time in months, Lila felt seen, not as a rich man's daughter, not as a mute mystery, but as a child. Days turned into weeks. Mr. Daniels began staying after class, offering extra help to those who struggled. He noticed that Lila often lingered, pretending to pack her bag slowly. One afternoon, he pulled out an old guitar from the corner of the classroom. "Did I ever tell you," he said, tuning the strings, "that when I couldn't talk about my feelings, I used music instead?" He began to play a gentle melody. The notes filled the empty classroom with something unspoken, something healing. Lila stopped mid-step, her eyes softened. She sat back down. Every day after, she stayed longer, listening. She never spoke, but once, just once, she hummed. So faintly he almost thought he imagined it. But he didn't. Mr. Daniels leaned in, smiling warmly. "That's beautiful, Lila. You don't have to shout. Just start with a hum." Word spread that Mr. Daniels had reached her. Some mocked it, some doubted it. But then came the school assembly. Each class had to present something. Lila's class was assigned a poem. The principal whispered nervously to Mr. Daniels, "We can't put Lila in front of a microphone. Her father will be here. It will be humiliating." But Mr. Daniels shook his head. "She'll be ready." On the day of the assembly, the auditorium was filled with polished parents, wealthy donors, and Mr. Hale himself, stern, restless, always on his phone. He looked up only when he saw his daughter walking on stage. His chest tightened. He loved her, but he didn't know how to reach her anymore. The class recited their lines. Then it was Lila's turn. She stood at the microphone, trembling, her small hands clutching the paper. A murmur spread through the crowd. Mr. Daniels caught her eye from the side of the stage. He whispered, barely audible, "Just a hum. Start with that." The room went silent. Then, softly at first, Lila began to speak. Her voice cracked, fragile, but real. Word by word, she read the poem. "When the world feels too heavy, and silence becomes my shield, sometimes all it takes is kindness to help a broken heart heal." Gasps filled the room. Tears welled in her father's eyes. He dropped his phone, his hardened face crumbling. When she finished, the auditorium erupted in applause. Lila's cheeks flushed, her lips forming the smallest, shyest smile. Mr. Hale rushed to the stage, scooping her into his arms. For the first time since her mother's passing, Lila whispered into his ear, "I miss her, Daddy." And he wept openly, holding her tight. Later, Mr. Hale approached Mr. Daniels, voice thick with emotion. "You did what doctors, tutors, even I couldn't do. You gave my daughter back her voice. How can I ever repay you?" Mr. Daniels smiled, weary but sincere. "Just promise you'll keep listening. That's all she needs." And in that moment, the billionaire CEO saw not a struggling teacher, but a man of immeasurable wealth in the things that truly matter: patience, kindness, and faith in a child. Lila never stopped speaking after that day. And Mr. Daniels, he went home that evening to his wife, whispering that maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. Because sometimes, the greatest miracles aren't shouted. They're whispered back into existence with love. So, if this story touched you, remember, one act of kindness, one person who listens, can change everything. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories reminding us that humanity still exists.